You're scrolling, drifting through the endless static of the algorithm, waiting for the signal to cut through the noise. Consider, if you will, that you just found the frequency. You've just stepped off the timeline of the everyday, into the space where the forgotten history and the hidden truths finally touch down. There's the story you know, and then there's the airspace we're about to enter. Check your coordinates, because you're heading towards the landing point.
Welcome back, friends. Can you guess who I'm talking about? Put it into the comments and how long it took you to figure out who I'm talking about. Today's story. Was he the Lone Ranger? Picture, if you will, a young man born into slavery in Arkansas in 1838. He was a man who started his life with nothing. No property, no rights, not even freedom. His name was Bass. When the Civil War erupted, Bass was forced to follow his enslaved son onto the battlefields of the Confederacy. Somewhere in the middle of the war, Bass got away. By the story most often told, it happened after a dispute over a card game turned violent. He didn't run north. He ran straight into the wild, untamed expanse of the Indian Territory, what we know today as Oklahoma. It was a place where the law of the United States barely reached. There, living amongst the Cherokee, the Creek, and the Seminole, Bass survived. He learned their customs. He learned their tracking skills. He became fluent in several of their languages. When emancipation finally came, Bass was a free man. He moved to Arkansas, bought land near Van Buren, and settled down to raise a family, 10 children in all. He was ready for a quiet, peaceful life, but history had other plans. In 1875, a federal judge named Isaac Parker, famous in the history books as the Hanging Judge, was tasked with bringing order to the Indian Territory. It was 75,000 square miles of the deadliest real estate in America, a haven for murderers, thieves, and outlaws fleeing the law. Parker sent his marshal, James Fagan, to commission 200 deputies to police it. They needed a special kind of man, someone who knew the terrain, someone who could speak the language of the tribes, and someone who possessed a fearless grit. They called upon the farmer from Arkansas, and so Bass became the first black man deputy U.S. Marshal west of the Mississippi River. For the next 32 years, Bass was the terror of the outlaw trail. He was a towering figure at 6 feet 2 inches, an ambidextrous marksman who could draw a pistol with lightning speed from either hip. He couldn't read or write a single word, yet he had someone read the warrants to him, memorize the shapes and names, and he was famous for never bringing the wrong man. He was a master of disguise. He would dress up as a tramp, a cattle thief, or a broke-down farmer, walking right into the outlaw camps to eat at their fires before slapping the iron handcuffs on them. Over his career, he arrested more than 3,000 felons and killed 14 outlaws in gunfights. His gun belt was severed by bullets. But in 32 years of gunfights, his skin was never pierced by lead. He was known for the unshakable morale. He was known for an unshakable moral compass. So strict was his dedication to the law that when his own son was accused of murder, Bass insisted taking the warrant himself and brought his own son in to face justice. Throughout his career, Bass often rode a large, striking white horse. In many accounts, he handed out silver coins to citizens as a calling card of goodwill. And he almost always rode with a Native American posseman by his side. Decades later, in 1933, a radio station in Detroit went looking for a new hero for the American public. They created a legendary lawman of the West, a man of strict moral code who rode a white horse, left behind silver, and traveled with a Native American companion, and brought justice to the lawless frontier. The world knows the fictional hero as the Lone Ranger. There is no proof that the show's creators ever heard of the real man's name. But many historians believe the flesh and blood lawman who lived that legend first, the man who wore no mask but wore a silver star, was Bass Reeves. And whether you realize it or not, this is The Landing Point.
Viewers, thank you for watching today, The Landing Point. We really appreciate it. I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Roadrunner Real Estate. They are a full-service real estate company doing both commercial and residential real estate. They can help you buy, sell, or even lease your properties. So if you're in the market looking for a real estate company, please go out and give them a call. They'll happily help you today. The next thing I'd like to talk about is our social media. Obviously, we have YouTube if you're watching that today. If you haven't done so already, please go out and subscribe. It is completely free to you. There's nothing that you'll be charged or your membership fees, but it does help us out so we can get our latest episodes to you quickly, and you can find out what's going on with YouTube. Our other place that we do a lot of our social media is on our Facebook page, The Landing Point. So please go out and like and subscribe or follow those, I guess I would say, so you get the latest updates. If you're a person that likes to listen to stories as you're out on the drive, we have our podcast. You can find The Landing Point out there, and it can be on most services. So once again, thank you for watching The Landing Point, and we look forward to see you on our next story.